Welcome to the Degenerate Football Podcast, episode 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm RJ Choppy. This is Longhorn James from the Football Gloryhole. It was a little bit of a tough week for me last week. I was 3-5. Still, though, 56% for the year, 28, 22, and 1. And the Football Gloryhole guys continue to just dominate 57%. Year in, year out, this is what you guys are doing. You guys are getting near that 60% number.
Yeah, and we're super excited. This is the time of year when the calendar turns to October, the computers start settling in on what these teams actually are, not what the perception is. I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, the first couple of weeks, it's touch and go a lot of times because there's perceptions and biases, and then when you get actual 4, 5, 6 weeks of data, or data, however you want to say it.
It gets locked in at this time.
Yeah, it really does. All right, so let's start with a little college football. There's a couple of huge games featuring top 25 schools. One, OU Texas, one, Florida LSU. We'll start with the Red River Showdown is what they call it this year at Fair Park. OU, Texas. OU's a 10-point favorite.
Yeah, we've got to lean to Oklahoma on this game, and this is pretty much a story of which one of these shaky defenses is going to be able to slow down the high-powered offenses. And the OU defense is 36th in defensive efficiency, and that's up from 84th last year. So if you remember the game last year, they could not stop Texas at all. Defense is playing a little bit better this year. Obviously, we know about the Sooners offense. They're just a machine. They're scoring over 50 points a game. They're not going to get much resistance at all from a Texas defense that's ranked 66th in defensive efficiency and 85th in the country in YPP defense. So I don't see them forcing OU to punt very much at all. Quick little nugget on this game. We all know that the Oklahoma offenses in the past with Lincoln Riley, they've been fantastic. This Oklahoma offense this year is actually averaging 1.3 more yards per play than the offense last year, which had the Heisman Trophy winner.
So is this all Jalen Hurts?
I mean, it's the only thing that's changed, right?
That's about it.
Riley's the same. So this is not just a good offense; it's a historic good offense. I know the 10's a lot of points, but we feel like that's the play.
All right, and then now. Texas played LSU. They've got a big game under their belt. Now, they didn't win the game. They lost it at home. Couldn't stop LSU in the second half. But will that game supposedly help them? Just because they've already played a big game this year.
I guess you could say that. But with this game, the way they play it every year, you can say you throw everything out the book. And this historically, this game does come down to the last minute wins. There's upsets all the time. So that's a factor. But I can't ignore the numbers on this, and the numbers are very strong in OU's favor.
All right, let's look at Florida LSU, number 5 versus number 7. When I saw this line come out, I had to refresh my computer. I don't believe that. That's a misprint. I shut it down. I went back like 4 hours later, and it was still there. LSU minus 13. This is number 5 versus number 7. I know it's a night game in Baton Rouge. That place is going to register on the Richter scale. But I like Florida plus 13 here. I know Kyle Trask is not the guy they projected to be the starting quarterback when the year started. Franks got hurt. But I don't know. I mean, I know they got a little lucky against Auburn last week. I can't imagine this being more than a 2-score game.
Yeah, and I got a little nugget on that Death Valley thing at the end of this. But I'm going to start off. I've got a slight lean to Florida with the points here, so I'm with you. I don't feel great about it, and here's why. The pace that LSU is playing at, they've never done it before, and Florida has not faced a team this year with this kind of pace.
All right.
And let's not forget, Florida has played 2 FCS teams, so their level of competition isn't very great. And the 2 good teams that they've played, Auburn and Miami, those are both with 2 freshman quarterbacks. So, and the quarterback
Burrow is amazing.
Oh, he's slinging all over the place. If there is a weakness in the LSU defense, it is over the middle, and that is where Florida likes to do most of their damage. So that's if they're gonna hang in here and possibly beat Florida, it's gonna be over the middle with that short passing game. The nugget about Death Valley at night, everybody talks about, man, you going to Death Valley at night, that's a tough place to win. You can't win there. Numbers don't really say that. Since 2013, night games in Death Valley, LSU is 16-2 against the spread. Contrast that with day games in the same span at Death Valley, they're 8-1 against the spread. So it's one of those things where, people say these things and it gets the narrative grows.
Yeah.
You can go in there at nighttime and at least cover. It's a
All right.
I lean Florida. I don't feel great about it.
Wow, I like that little number, man. That is juicy.
Good one, huh?
All right, let's go to the NFL. Last week, a little tough for me in the National Football League, but we got 2 selections that I want to ask about one. Let's start off with Houston and Kansas City. Kansas City is a 4.5 point favorite.
They are, and this game for me comes down to injuries. I mean, we know about the injuries that KC has with is Hill. I don't. We'll have to check.
Tyreek is wishy-washy. He's practicing.
Yeah, but he's been practicing for 2 weeks, so we need to see how that goes. Watkins, he's questionable. Of course, you got the offensive tackles out. They got a couple of defensive players out. But really, this is all about Mahomes and his ankle. His game, he needs to be able to flush out of the pocket to have success. That's really where he does his damage. And over the last few weeks, really going back to the AFC Championship game, Belichick, shocker there, kind of gave you the game plan of how to play against Mahomes. And with his ankle injury, it's working. You play man up across the board, and you put attention to Kelsey, and teams are having a hard time. Now, Coach Pencil for Detroit, he employed that system. It had some success. They didn't win the game, but he had some success. Indy last week did the same thing, except they added a blitz package to it. They blitzed Mahomes on 42% of his dropbacks last week. And, of course, we saw the game. We know how that turned out. But really, it comes down to Mahomes and his ankle, because if he can escape that pressure and find his real weapons when they get back healthy, he's going to be able to beat this. We've seen it in the past. But right now, he does not have them. Let's go to the other side of the ball. Houston, since they've made that trade for Tunsil and they inserted both their number 1 and number 2 draft picks from this last draft into the starting lineup and reshuffled the last 2 games, they're taking off. Watson's only been sacked 2 times in the last 2 games. The running game is 5th in rushing offensive efficiency, and they're 5th in rushing offensive explosive runs, and that's going to bode well against a Kansas City team that cannot stop the run at all, missing a couple of defensive linemen possibly in this game. I've got a huge lean to Houston. The only thing I will say is, if you listen to our podcast, we are not a fan of O'Brien. This guy,
terrible.
This guy, he's the Jason Garrett of the AFC.
Wow, Garrett's a good coach. I know you guys are talking
So is
about.
O'Brien. That's the thing. O'Brien's a good coach, but he finds ways to screw up games that they should absolutely win. So even though everything points to Houston for me in this game, O'Brien can absolutely screw us.
All right, Philadelphia, Minnesota. We disagree here. I like Philadelphia +3. You guys like Minnesota -3. Why are you wrong?
Well, I'm going to tell you why you're wrong. And, the narrative around Cousins, which is true, is the primetime narrative, right? He can't play in primetime. And
it's a noon game, right?
This is a noon game, but let's dig a little deeper. I don't know if you've heard the story, but he has a little OCD action going on with.
I do too.
Okay, we all do a little bit, but this is a story that's going to be getting more and more over the coming weeks. He has to have the exact same routine for everything he does throughout a game day. And if you factor into the fact that he's not good in the 3 o'clock games, not good in the Thursday night or Monday night or Sunday night games, it's starting to make more and more sense. And a matter of fact, I've got some nuggets here. Cousins, in his career, kickoffs at noon, he's 30-17 against the spread for 63%. A game any other time, 3, 7, whatever, 9-20 for 31% against the spread. So I think we're finding out it's not necessarily about he just can't win in primetime. I think has more to do with his routine and maybe his OCD that he's got going on.
He likes to have his breakfast. Is that what you're saying? Breakfast, then go right to the facility.
He likes to hit that can at the same time. Everything's got to be the same for him. Apparently, I don't know. For Philly, their secondary is obviously their weakness. Darby is still out. The weapons for Minnesota are incredible on the outside. I don't really think they're going to have much trouble moving the ball against Philly. I really don't. We talk about Zimmer all the time on our podcast about he's the best against the spread coach in the NFL at 65%. But here's another little nugget for you. At home versus a non-division opponent, he is 18-2 against the spread.
Wow.
So with a noon kickoff, a huge Zimmer trend, we're taking Minnesota minus the points.
All right, finally, last one. Another kind of disagreement. We're talking slight lean here. Seattle -1.5 against Cleveland on the road. I like Seattle. You guys are kind of trending the other way. Why? Or why am I off on this Seattle pick?
Well, I would lean to Cleveland in this one, and a couple questions for you, Chop. Number one, does this line seem weird to you?
Yes.
Like
it
when you see a
seems-
line like this, it's like,
Yeah,
why?
I
Okay.
know. I'm with you.
That's-
But the Florida LSU line seemed weird to me too.
It does, but whenever a line you look at, it's like, whoa, okay, that doesn't make sense. You gotta. That's your cue to dig deeper and find out what's going on here,
Or stay away.
or stay away. Second question is, why do you like Seattle?
They have a better quarterback.
Oh,
a
well-
much better quarterback.
100%,
Yeah,
but
that's kind of how I look at it. Like that quarterback. Like Baker's playing awful this year.
He is.
And Russell Wilson is having one of the best seasons to start a year that we've seen in a lot.
So that begs the question: if you just took the best quarterback in every game, would you win
That's a good question. I don't know.
against the spread?
I don't
No.
know. You would win the game straight up.
Oh, but again, we play against the spread, so
But against the spread. That's the thing. This is a 1.5. So you're basically just playing straight up.
yeah. And I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying Seattle doesn't really, to me, have a signature win this year. They beat the Rams on a short week for the Rams going on the road, and the Rams had a chance to kick a relatively easy field goal to get that win. So I think basically what I'm saying is Seattle to me is a little bit overrated,
Yeah.
a little bit overinflated. You got Cleveland coming off an embarrassing loss.
Oh, they were terrible.
And NFL teams have a great way to bounce back from embarrassments. I'm not going to disagree with you.
Okay.
I'm probably going to stay away, but I was just curious to hear what you had on that.
All right. Yeah, like I said, it's just, to me, it's about the quarterback, and I don't trust Freddie Kitchens either.
Good point.
He is as bad as it gets. All right, so that's what we got. We got OU -10, Florida slight lean +13, Houston +4. We disagree on Philadelphia and Minnesota. I've got Philadelphia +3. They have Minnesota -3. And I like Seattle -1.5. They're more of the stay away.
Stay away from that one.
That's what we got. You can find me on Twitter @RJChoppy. Of course, listen to me every weekday, Monday through Friday, 5:30 to 10 at 105.3 The Fan. And then the Football Glory Hole guys, where can they find you at?
Yeah, anywhere you get your podcast, the Football Glory Hole podcast. And don't forget to go to our website and sign up for those premium picks so that we may become partners for life and chop, as always, in a mostly non-sexual way.
That's right. Very nice. It is the Degenerate Football Podcast. We will talk to you next week with episode number 7 with 105 through The Fan.